Do you remember Miss Educator from the last BBL assignment? We sure do. This time, she has asked us to create an assignment for her students to help her better understand what to assess. The problem from the last scenario with Miss Educator is that she did not create learning objectives, nor were her tests reliable or valid. She had not prepared for her class and thought that the lecturing method would be the best solution and that all of her students would learn in the same way. This time around, the problem is that there are no assignments in the course, and Miss Educator needs us to create one. She also needs us to create a rubric and finally do the assignment so that it is feasible. Let's take a look at the assignment that we have created as a group. In order for Miss Educator to properly assess your progress, help you improve your understanding of the topic if needed, and understand your learning stance, she needs your help to develop 3 assessments to be done along the way of the course. The 5 tests are just not enough and are not reliable nor valid on their own. As you might already know, assessment is most effective when conducted in an ongoing manner. Assessment should reveal how well you have learned what the teacher wants you to learn, while instruction ensures that you learn it. For this to occur, assessments, learning objectives, and instructional strategies need to be closely aligned so that they are reinforced with one another. There are 2 parts to your assignment. You will read the scenario and then create the 3 assessments. Finally, write a reflection justifying your position. Please also find a rubric attached to the assignment and follow as a guide to get all the marks. This assignment is worth 20%. Please use this rubric when completing your assignment. This will be the way Miss Educator will be evaluating your work. Please read carefully all the criteria and create your assignment accordingly. Please read Scenario A carefully. Execute the task. This year, your teacher, Miss Educator, is teaching you in adult education. The course is designed to help you understand what adult education is all about, when adult learning occurs, and how it is conducted by identifying strategies of adult education. The course will last for 5 weeks, 1 class per week, and will have a total of 5 tests, 1 per week. Classes will be a mix of literature responses, group discussions, independent study, tests, as well as group and self-reflections. You will experience visual, project-based, and technology learning. Please go to the next page for the weekly topics and the learning objectives outcomes of the course. Here are your weekly topics. Please read them carefully as you will create assessments around these weekly topics. Here are the learning objectives of the course. Please take the time to read them as you will create the assessments as per the learning objectives in front of you. In this scenario, you are given the learning objectives and the instructional strategies of your teacher that will be utilized throughout the 5 weeks course, as well as the 5 weekly topics. Create 3 assessments as per your teacher's request that aligns with the learning objectives and the instructional strategies of this scenario. Once completed, move on to the next and final step. Now that we have finished reading this scenario, we have created 3 assessments.
Week 1 Diagnostic. In the first assignment, we will complete a listing diagnostic. Individually, we will list 5 to 7 words or short phrases that define or describe what adult education means to us. In response to our Week 1 diagnostic, we came up with some examples. 1. Contiguous studies. 2. Non-traditional schooling. 3. Practical application. 4. Job-specific learning. 5. Skill enhancement. 6. Problem-based learning. And finally, 7. Personal fulfillment.
Week 3 Formative Assessment. The second assignment will be a midpoint review. First, our group will briefly discuss and analyze one topic discussed in the course so far. We will then create a PowerPoint to show what we have learned and outline key points on the topic. Each of us are to create 1 PowerPoint slide each, which will be on our topic of choice. When completed, we will post each PowerPoint onto our online class blog and comment on at least 2 other PowerPoints. The slides will be brief and visually appealing. Week 3, Formative Assessment PowerPoint Example. What is assessment? Assessment is the measure of the student's learning. Student achievement is defined as how well they have mastered a certain target skills. Assessments provide educators with both objective and subjective data in order to ascertain students' progress and skill mastery. The types of assessments, whether it be a diagnostic, formative, summative, non-reference test, or criterion reference tests, and the scoring that goes with it, whether it be reliable, which refers to the likeliness of the scores and the outcomes to be repeated in several different populations of test takers, and validity, refers to how the assessment's outcomes are interpreted and applied.
Week 5, Summative Assessment. We, the students, will create a written paper in response to our independent study project. Our written paper will be based on our independent study topic and what we have learned throughout the 5 weeks. The response should be no longer than 1 page, and format should be 1.5 spacing and 12-point font.
Week 5, Summative Assessment Solution Template. First, we have a question, followed by the overview/introduction of our topic. Then, we have the body paragraph findings with 3 supporting evidences. And finally, we have our conclusion.
Now that you completed part 1 of the assignment, complete part 2, reflection. Write a 1-page self-reflection that explains which assessment methods were used, why they are best suited for this type of work, and how they align with the learning objectives and instructional strategy. Explain your decision behind your 3 assessments.
When completing our assessments, our team decided to start with a diagnostic assessment. The diagnostic assessment allowed us to look at our prior knowledge. It was quick and concise. We then moved on to our formative assessment, which is an ongoing assessment. It provides feedback so that we can address problems immediately, and feed forward, which provides further direction. And finally, once the assessment has been completed, we look at summative. The summative assessment allows us to apply the knowledge that we've learned and to synthesize and evaluate our entire process.